Hello everyone. It's been a long time. I have not been on my YouTube in a long time, with good reason. So that is why I'm here. So for those of you who do not know me and have not seen any of my prior videos about my fertility journey, please take a look at my old videos. I won't make this one too long. I just wanted to hop on long enough to give everyone just a brief update on what's been going on with me. So, and I'll be honest, I haven't even looked back at my story. So I might get some of the dates wrong. But let me try and do a rewind just briefly, not to the beginning. Please go watch those videos if you're interested, but just a brief rewind on what's been going on with me and try to pick it up from a couple years ago. So I've been going through IVF journey with my babe. We had made a decision to make an attempt at IVF. This is a few years ago when we first started this, and had gone through IUI, gone through, moving to IVF, and gone through a few different cycles overall, including a couple retrievals, a few transfers, and we had, chemical pregnancy in that process, and also an early loss, miscarriage in that process as well, and then our other transfer and our IUIs failed. So this was, we stopped, it was right at the top of the pandemic, and with life moving ahead, world's crazy, all the social unrest stuff, we just decided that we were going to end our journey and just move forward with the wonderful children that we have, to know our background as far as our kids. Just briefly, I'll say, you can watch the videos, but we have 2 boys, 2 girls from previous relationships, but we don't have any children together. And so that was the desire. That's what we were trying to do. Pandemic, life, all that stuff hits, and we just put a pause. So what we've been doing over the last couple of years is really just focusing on our relationship, which we are in an excellent space, just really, really good as far as one another is concerned, and just I think all things in that space are just really good. So I think the primary reason why we just decided to stop a lot of the fertility stuff was that I'm just getting older. I felt like it was taking a toll on our relationship. We were spending more energy focused on the goal of having a child than we were really on just being with each other, and it was just not something I wanted to do anymore. So we put the emphasis back on just us and our kids and our careers and all that good stuff. So career-wise, things are going great. Things are going really well for me. I've got a lot of responsibilities career-wise, busy as always. I'm always busy. He's always busy. He's launched a couple more businesses since then, and so he's been able to really put his energy towards those things and focusing on his career. Our kids are solid. Some little, bumps with that on his end as far as, baby mama drama. But as far as, my boys, I've never had those issues. So everything's good. Boys are great. My oldest son, lives in California. He might even be coming back here in a minute. So things have just been really good. So all good there. So fast forward now to present time. So with my career, I'm busy. I travel a lot. I have a lot of different things I have to do out of state, whatever. So in the midst of COVID, I pulled back on my travel. I've pulled back on a lot of stuff. I spend a lot of time kind of in a bubble. I do move around, but very limitedly, and only around like my family for the most part, or really close friends who I know have similar perspectives that I have when it comes to COVID, because everybody has their own feelings about it, which I'm not going to get into any of that stuff because people have your feelings. I respect other people's feelings, but I want people to respect mine. That's how I feel about it. But when it comes to my safety and things like that, I only move around people who have similar perspectives as mine, because we're obviously on the same wavelength and we're going to move a little bit more similar to one another. And I have to be thoughtful of my kids and things like that. So I haven't moved around a lot, been kind of in a bubble. And then last year, of course, we've had these different variants. But last year, as the year started coming to an end, the last 4 or 5 months in the year, I started going out a little bit. I would go to a restaurant here and there. I would actually move around. When the summer kind of kicked in, I even flew out to Mexico with my babe and our kids, and we had a good time there along with our parents. And so I felt okay. I wanted to kind of stay in small groups, so we did, as far as all the adventures and things that we went on, just as I'm getting my comfort level. Started feeling a little more comfortable about moving around a little bit. And so with work, I started going back to the office after, being away from the office for about a year and a half. Started going back to the office a little bit. I was feeling pretty reasonable, in that regard as well. And so I had a thing, let's just put it like that. It's complicated. A thing for work that some of the execs really wanted me to come to and be a part of, and so I was like, okay, fine. I'm saying that because I've been saying no, for once they lifted our travel ban last year. I've been saying no all year long, just like, nah, I'm not ready yet. Let me wait a little bit. And so finally I said I'm gonna go. So I had to go out of town in November, and I had a lot of work to do for my staff, writing reviews and reviewing reviews for some of my managers and things like that. I'm just really busy, and usually I'm really good about organizing and prioritizing those things and making sure that I get them done and everything executed by whatever deadline I have set. And I just wasn't up to it. I just felt really tired and distracted, and just all I really wanted to do, really, to be honest with you, is just sit around and sleep and eat. And that was really it. And so when I was out of town, I noticed that I was trying to focus, even in these different meetings that I was in, and I was having a really hard time just focusing and, staying on task and then getting my stuff done. I would normally, when I'm out of town like that, when I go to my room, I'll call my babe, I'll talk to my kids, my mom, depending on the day. And then I'll kick back, turn the TV on. I'm a multitasker, so having distracting noises in the back is actually good for me. Some people can't deal with all the distractions, but it helps me think. Strange, but I've always been that way. And so I'll cut the TV on, and then I'll get to going on whatever work I'm working on. I cannot do it. Like, I would literally, get distracted, have to put my laptop down, watch TV, go to sleep, take a nap. I'm a person who really likes to work out. I like to go do a lot of outdoor types of workouts, though, like hike and walk and go for a little jog and things like that. And I could not even make myself do that. I was just like, all I want to do is go to sleep. So I thought, my first instinct, right, is like, I must be getting sick. Like, damn it, I've gone this entire time without getting COVID. It must have got me. So I started feeling that way the last day that I was there. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to finish my time here. At this point, I've only been really close to one person. And if I do have COVID, I've already gotten her sick. So I'm just going to finish this out, bow out, test when I get home, and then I'll let her know if I test positive. So I come home, take my test, it's negative. And I'm like, I know it can be negative, at first. So I'll do another one the next day, do another test, negative. So I'm like, okay. But I'm not getting any better. I still feel the same way. And then I started feeling like I had gas out of this world. I'm like, okay, maybe I just have blocked gas or something. Like, I feel like, and I'm not a really gassy person naturally, normally, but I'm like, maybe that's what it is. So I have trapped gas or something. And so then it dawned on me, it can't be. There's no way. Because I had my cycle. It was really short compared to normal and light, but I had my cycle before I left. Yeah, it can't be. But I still had a pregnancy test. Now you see what I'm talking about. I still had a pregnancy test from when I was doing IVF. They're a couple of years old, so let me check and make sure they're still good. But they are. I'll take one. So I look. This one I had. It's not even one of those rapid early detection tests, and it's like just expired. Who wants to waste the good one? Because I had some other ones, the rapid pregnancy test and first response, whatever, and they're still valid. They're not expired yet. I'm like, so let me take, one of these pregnancy tests, see what happens. So I go ahead, pee on the stick, put it on the little paper, sit it on the windowsill. Why I pull my pants up and I just glance over and it's already 2 lines. And I said, you got to be kidding me. There's no way. For those of you who don't know, if you watch my prior videos, my chances of getting pregnant are extremely low for a number of reasons I won't bore you with today. I've gone into them before. I'm like, there's no way it's positive. So of course I go and I take another one. Now I'm going to use the first response because I'm like, let me see. So I take another one as soon as I have to use the bathroom the next time. Mind you, I did not do the first day urine. It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I take a first response like an hour or so later. Then it dawns on me then too, I gotta pee a lot. I didn't even think about that before when I was having, not feeling very great. I gotta pee a lot. This didn't take long. I had to go to the bathroom again. Anyway, take that test. Boom, it's positive. I cannot believe it. I was just like in shock. So I call my sister. She's like, yeah, I'm not surprised. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, it's the way you've been acting lately. Kind of gave me this inkling that something was up. Because you've been feeling weird and you've been saying things about it. And I don't even recall at the time like me even saying anything about me feeling any kind of way. So I'm like, interesting. So I'm shocked, right? So I'm like, I'm not going to tell my babe because we've had these losses and he's taken them fairly hard and in some ways harder than me. And I'm like, I don't want to tell him about this and then something go wrong. So I'm like, I'm not even going to mention it to him. And I'm just going to make an appointment with my doctor and see what happens, right? So I do. I schedule my appointment with my doctor, and she makes it several weeks out because she had me go and look and count back the dates to try and figure out when I think that I got pregnant. And I told her, well, here's when I ovulate. Here's when I had that cycle before this one that I just had. Here's my last cycle that I know I had. This last one was kind of funky, so she didn't want to count that one. But the last cycle that I had before that one, I gave her that information. And then they gave me a day, a few weeks, about a month, and some change out. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of far. But she said the reason why they were doing that is she wanted to have Kim come, and it would be the only one he'd be able to come to, and they would do all of the first trimester tests, all the stuff, the very first appointment, because he wouldn't be able to come back due to COVID protocol. Okay. So, like I said, I wasn't planning on telling him, but my goodness, my symptoms just started rapidly picking up. And I felt like absolute crap. Gassy, just nauseated. Everything smelled awful. I just felt like absolute crap. And I'm like, I gotta tell him. So I did. And he was in absolute shock. He thought I was playing with him. He's like, are you serious? Yes. So, going forward, I'll make this last part here really brief, and I'll come back later in another episode and go into, you know, further detail. But I had a flight to go to California to see my son coming up, and so of course my babe was like, be careful, all that good stuff, and me and my younger son were going together. And at that point I was like 8-9 weeks, somewhere around there. And so we go to California. Trip is great. I was there for like 5 or 6 days, and on my way back I was on a plane, took a good nap, and I usually can't sleep on planes, but I had no problem sleeping on the plane at this point. Same thing with my last trip. I slept on the plane there and back. Like something should have given me the inkling that something was up. But anyway, I just thought I wasn't feeling well. So coming back on the plane, go to the bathroom, and I'm good. I just had to go pee, and blood everywhere. Everywhere. And so, crazy. I wasn't even panicking or anything. It was just kind of like, there it goes. Like I had been anticipating that this would likely happen. And so I get home, come home, I make sure I clean up well so my son doesn't notice anything that's going on, and I don't get it on my clothes or anything. And then I go ahead and come home, and I get home, I tell my babe what happened, and he's like, but I didn't want. He just looks devastated and disappointed and upset. I tell my mom and my sister, whatever, and so I called my doctor the next day, and they were like, just go ahead, we'll keep your appointment, we'll come in. If you start having any continuous bleeding, we'll move it in sooner, yada yada yada. Okay. Kind of like, I'm kind of like, unless you feel like you need to come in sooner. I'm like, not really, I'm kind of used to this, it's like not a big deal. So the next several weeks, I still am taking my pregnancy test because I still feel like crap, and they're still all positive. Positive. I'm like, this is weird. So fast forward, we go to our doctor's appointment, and they put the little sonogram on, and they put the little thing on my little belly. There's baby. Beautiful sack. Baby looking right at us. Clearly can see the baby. I'm like, oh my God, baby's still there. And she pans over, and there's another sack. It's empty. So we were pregnant with twins, and we lost one. The other one's still there. I'll come back later, and I'll tell you what's been going on since then. Gotta leave you with a little bit of mystery. All right, everybody. Talk soon.